All right, let's just jump right in. The entire world of accounting is going through this massive shift right now. We're moving away from firms just being, processing shops and into a future where they act as a client's strategic brain trust. So, what in the world does that actually mean for you? And how does your firm even get there? Let's break it all down. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to really define this big shift to becoming a brain trust. Then we'll look at 5 major trends that are kind of forcing everyone's hand. After that, we'll get super practical with a framework for building what we're calling a hybrid engine. We'll tackle some of those common questions I know you're thinking about, and we'll wrap it all up by looking at how you can design your firm's future. This right here is the whole ballgame. This single idea really captures the entire mindset shift we're talking about. It's the difference between just being a reactive service provider and becoming this proactive, absolutely indispensable partner who delivers real, honest-to-goodness insight. Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. What does this journey from basic bookkeeping to providing deep, meaningful business insight actually look like when the rubber meets the road? This slide really lays it out, night and day. The old mission, it was simple. Just deliver the numbers. And look, that was vital, of course, but let's be honest, it's quickly becoming a commodity. The new mission is where the real value is. Clients don't just want the numbers anymore. They expect you to interpret them, to model out different scenarios, to flag risks before they even happen, and ultimately to help them see around corners. Now, this whole evolution isn't happening in a vacuum. There are some really powerful forces out there making this shift a flat-out necessity, not just a nice-to-have. So let's break down the 5 key trends that are completely reshaping the industry as we speak. First up, and this one is going to be a surprise to absolutely no one. It's automation and AI. But here's the thing you have to remember. This isn't about replacing accountants, not at all. It's about replacing the boring, repetitive, low-value tasks. This tech is a tool that unleashes your team's brainpower for what really, truly matters: strategic judgment, complex analysis, and actually building those strong client relationships. And that leads us perfectly into our second trend, because, all that newly freed up brainpower needs better, faster data to work with. Yeah, the days of waiting around for a monthly or quarterly report to make a big decision, they're over, gone. Clients now have access to live, real-time financial dashboards. And that means they expect their advisors, you, to be able to spot issues and recommend course corrections instantly, not weeks after the fact. So now you've got automation freeing up your people and real-time data for them to analyze. The third trend really gets into how you actually structure your team to make the most of all this. And that's the hybrid model. Instead of having to choose between a purely in-house team or a totally outsourced one, the smartest firms are blending the two. They're keeping that high-level strategic leadership local and onshore, right where the client is, while leveraging amazing global talent offshore for all the efficient execution. It's really the best of both worlds. Okay, so once you've dialed in your team's structure, the fourth trend is all about dialing in your focus. The old generalist model is fading fast. The firms that are really winning are specializing in specific industries, like SaaS or real estate or e-commerce. And why? Because when you can speak your client's language, you offer much, much deeper insights. A firm that knows SaaS isn't just doing the books. They're advising on critical metrics like customer churn and ARR, stuff a generalist might totally miss. And finally, we have the fifth trend, which is really the foundation that all the others are built on. With all this data flying between teams and across borders, security isn't just an IT problem anymore. It's a core business requirement. It's table stakes. Clients demand proof that their data is safe. We're talking encryption, clear audit trails, and often proof through things like a SOC 2 report. Trust is built on a foundation of rock-solid security. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's move to the how. How do you actually build one of these hybrid models that balances that onshore strategy with offshore execution? Well, here's a really practical framework for you. Let's walk through this. It all starts with your onshore core. Think of this as your strategic leadership, the controllers and managers who own that client relationship. Next, that core is powered by an offshore engine, a team built for scale and efficiency. The third piece, and this is so crucial, is the white label approach. Your client never sees the engine room. They only ever see one seamless, unified team that's all under your brand. And finally, you hold it all together with rigorous oversight. I'm talking multi-tier reviews, clear performance metrics, and constant feedback to guarantee quality. Of course, whenever you talk about a change this big, a lot of what ifs start popping up. So let's just tackle two of the most common questions people have about this whole model head on.
This is the big one, right? It's the fear that technology is coming for everyone's job.
And the answer is a very clear no. Automation doesn't eliminate the accountant, it elevates them. As all those routine robotic tasks just fade away, the uniquely human skills like critical judgments, complex analysis, and strategic advising, they become even more essential, and frankly, a whole lot more valuable. This is the other big concern, and it gets right to the heart of the matter: trust. How can you possibly leverage a global team without damaging that client relationship you've worked so hard to build? This is exactly where that white label model we talked about becomes so incredibly important. You maintain trust through three key things: strict internal oversight, having multiple layers of review, and, this is the most important one, keeping all client-facing communication with your local onshore team. As far as the client is concerned, the experience is completely seamless, and it's all delivered under your trusted brand. So, let's bring all this home. The future for CPA firms isn't about just working harder using the same old model, it's about completely evolving how the work itself gets done. And really, that leaves us with one final, crucial question you have to ask yourself. When you look at your operations, your team, your technology, is your firm truly built to advise, or is it just built to process? Because in the years to come, the answer to that one question is going to define your success.